Hello everyone. In the previous video on acid-base balance and imbalance, I have explained the role of buffer systems in the body in regulation of blood pH. In the second part on the same topic, I will explain the regulation of blood pH by respiratory and renal mechanisms. The specific learning objectives of this session are: at the end of this session, students should be able to describe the respiratory regulation of blood pH, role of hemoglobin as a buffer, isohydric transport of carbon dioxide, and describe the renal mechanisms for regulation of blood pH. So let's begin with the respiratory regulation of blood pH. Respiratory system prevents any rapid alteration in plasma hydrogen ion concentration by regulating removal or retention of carbon dioxide by lungs and thereby levels of carbonic acid in blood. And this is brought about by respiratory centers which are located in medulla of brainstem, carotid and aortic bodies, and these chemoreceptors are very sensitive to any pH change in the blood. Increased carbon dioxide level, increased hydrogen concentration and decreased pH stimulates the respiratory centers. It results in increased respiration rate and depth. It is called as hyperventilation, and which ultimately leads to increased CO2 expelled from lungs. So the removal of carbon dioxide from lungs results in decreased concentration of carbon dioxide. And when there is decreased carbon dioxide, decreased hydrogen ion concentration and increased pH, it results in depression of respiratory centers. There is decreased respiration rate and depth. It is called as hypoventilation, and less CO2 will be expelled from lungs. So there will be more retention of CO2 inside blood, and it leads to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in blood. What is the role of hemoglobin as a buffer in isohydric transport of carbon dioxide? In the previous video, I didn't explain the role of hemoglobin as a buffer, but in this video, I will explain it in detail. Hemoglobin acts as a strong buffer in deoxygenated state at peripheral tissues. What is isohydric transport? It is a transport of about 70 to 75% of carbon dioxide which is released from peripheral tissues in the form of bicarbonate without change in pH or with the minimal change in pH. Now let's see how the transport of carbon dioxide from peripheral tissues to lung occur in the body. This is a peripheral tissue. This is interstitial fluid. This is red blood cell present in the tissue capillary, and this is a plasma surrounding the red blood cells. 5 to 7% of carbon dioxide which is formed in peripheral cells during metabolism is directly dissolved in plasma. Very small amount of carbon dioxide combines with water to form carbonic acid, and it is dissociated to form bicarbonate and hydrogen ions, but it is a very slow process. 15 to 20% is transported bound to hemoglobin which is present in the red blood cells, and 70 to 75% of carbon dioxide which is formed in peripheral tissues enters the red blood cells, combines with water there, and by the action of enzyme carbonic anhydrase, it is converted into carbonic acid. Carbonic acid dissociated into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions. Bicarbonate ions leaves red blood cells and enters plasma. In exchange of bicarbonate ion, to maintain the electroneutrality, chloride ions from plasma enter red blood cell. This is called as chloride shift. Now, how these hydrogen ions which are released in this process are buffered? Hemoglobin is present in the bound form with oxygen. So this hemoglobin combines with hydrogen to form deoxygenated hemoglobin, and the oxygen is delivered for utilization to the peripheral tissue. This is how the 70 to 75% of carbon dioxide which is released from peripheral tissue now is transported in the form of this bicarbonate, and through the circulation it will go to lung capillary. So this bicarbonate ion present in the circulation reaches lung capillary. This is the erythrocyte present in the lung capillary, and this is alveolus. So this bicarbonate enters red blood cell in exchange of chloride ion, and this is reversal of chloride shift. There is increased oxygen tension in the alveolus, and this oxygen enters red blood cells, and the hemoglobin is present in the deoxygenated state here. So the hemoglobin combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin, and H ion are released. So this H ion combines with bicarbonate ions to form carbonic acid, and by the action of enzyme carbonic anhydrase, it is converted into water and carbon dioxide, and then carbon dioxide then enters the plasma, and it enters the alveolus, and through that it will be exhaled from the lungs. So this is the isohydric transport of carbon dioxide from peripheral tissues to the lungs in the form of bicarbonate, and it occurs with the help of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin acts as a buffer here, and it prevents the change in pH. It is important to note that respiratory system responds to any change in pH very rapidly, but it is short-lived because hyperventilation cannot proceed for long. So now kidneys come to rescue because kidneys exert ultimate homeostatic control over hydrogen ion concentration. Now let's talk about the third mechanism, that is renal regulation of blood pH. Kidneys provide a permanent mechanism to regulate acid-base balance in the body by regulating plasma bicarbonate level. The major renal mechanisms are: first, the reabsorption of bicarbonate, that is recovery of bicarbonate. Second, excretion of hydrogen ions and generation of new bicarbonate. Third is excretion of titratable acid, that is net acid excretion. And fourth is excretion of hydrogen ions as ammonium ions. First mechanism is reabsorption of bicarbonate. This diagram is schematic presentation of tubular lumen, tubular cell and blood. 90 to 95% of bicarbonate that is filtered is reabsorbed in proximal convoluted tubule, and 5 to 10% is reabsorbed in distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. So the bicarbonate which is filtered in tubular lumen, it combines with hydrogen ion to form carbonic acid, which is dissociated to form carbon dioxide and water by the action of enzyme carbonic anhydrase. This carbon dioxide is diffusible. It enters tubular cell, and again there is formation of carbonic acid by another isoenzyme of carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic acid again dissociated to form bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. Hydrogen ions are secreted in tubular lumen in exchange of sodium by sodium hydrogen antipode system. The energy required for this exchange is provided by sodium potassium ATPase pump. The reabsorption of bicarbonate occurs with bicarbonate sodium symport. So this reabsorption of bicarbonate is sodium dependent, and the bicarbonate which is filtered is not same as bicarbonate which is reabsorbed, so it should be rightly called as recovery of bicarbonate and not the reabsorption. The normal urine is almost free from bicarbonate because all the bicarbonate which is filtered is reabsorbed or recovered. There is no excretion of hydrogen ions here because all the hydrogen ions are utilized in the process. 5 to 10% of reabsorption of bicarbonate occurs in distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct, but the difference in reabsorption in proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule is that here the reabsorption is not sodium dependent, it is sodium independent. It occurs by bicarbonate chloride antipode system. The second mechanism is excretion of hydrogen ions. It occurs in proximal convoluted tubule, and it is coupled with regeneration of bicarbonate. So the process of generation of bicarbonate starts in tubular cell. Here water and carbon dioxide combines together to form carbonic acid by the action of enzyme carbonic anhydrase. It is dissociated to form bicarbonate and hydrogen ions. Hydrogen ions are secreted into tubular lumen in exchange of sodium, and the energy required for this purpose is supplied by sodium potassium ATPase pump. The bicarbonate is reabsorbed by sodium bicarbonate symport. The hydrogen ion which is secreted in tubular lumen is excreted through urine, but only negligible amount of hydrogen ion is excreted in free form, and for every hydrogen ion that is secreted, one bicarbonate ion is reabsorbed. So the excretion of hydrogen ion is associated with net gain of one bicarbonate ion. Third mechanism is excretion of hydrogen ions as titratable acid. Titratable acidity is a measure of net acid secretion by the kidney, and measured titratable acid present in the urine is sodium hydrogen phosphate. And you can see in this diagram that the bicarbonate synthesis occurs in tubular cell, and there is secretion of hydrogen ion and reabsorption or regeneration of one bicarbonate ion. Phosphate buffer plays very important role here. The basic phosphate, that is disodium hydrogen phosphate, dissociates to form sodium and sodium hydrogen phosphate. So this accepts hydrogen ion to form sodium dihydrogen phosphate, which is acid phosphate, and this process of acidification starts in proximal tubule and continues up to distal tubule, and the maximum limit of acidification is 4.5. So the excretion of hydrogen ion as titratable acid is coupled with net gain of bicarbonate ions. The fourth mechanism is excretion of hydrogen ions as ammonium ions. The glutamine present in the tubular cell, by the action of enzyme glutaminase, it is converted into glutamate. There is release of ammonia. This ammonia is diffusible, so it comes into tubular lumen. It combines with hydrogen ions to form ammonium ions. So, and it is excreted in the urine in the form of ammonium ions. So this excretion of hydrogen ions is coupled with net gain of bicarbonate. As we can see here, for every hydrogen ion which is secreted and excreted, one bicarbonate ion is generated. So this is how by these four different mechanisms, kidney exert a very important role in regulating acid-base balance. So let's summarize the topic. Regulation of blood pH is brought about by three different mechanisms. The first one is blood buffer system. Bicarbonate buffer is most important extracellular buffer. There are other buffers which are also important, are phosphate buffer, protein buffer, hemoglobin buffer. But this is blood buffer system is a temporary mechanism for regulation of blood pH. The second most important mechanism is respiratory mechanism. Whenever there is increase in carbon dioxide concentration and hydrogen ion concentration, it activates respiratory centers and it results into hyperventilation, that is increase rate and depth of respiration. So ultimately it results into increased expiration of carbon dioxide from lungs, and ultimately it results in decreased carbon dioxide in the blood. And whenever there is decreased carbon dioxide in blood or decreased hydrogen ion concentration in blood, it results in hypoventilation, and ultimately it leads to increased retention of carbon dioxide in blood. This is a short-lived mechanism because hyperventilation cannot proceed for longer time. The third and very important is renal mechanism, which provides permanent solution to the problems of acid-base balance. And there are four different renal mechanisms. First is reabsorption of bicarbonate. Second is excretion of hydrogen ions and generation of bicarbonate. Third is excretion of titratable acid with net gain of bicarbonate ion. And fourth is excretion of ammonium ion with net gain of bicarbonate. So with this, I conclude this topic on regulation of blood pH. And the next topic will be acid-base balance and imbalance part 3 on disorders of acid-base balance. Thank you.